Hi, my name's Allie, and I'm applying for Director of Marketing, Director of Budgeting, and Director of Operations. And a little bit about myself, I am a senior this year. I'm an exercise science major, and I'm also the senior resident assistant for Rate Hall next year. So just jumping in, what is PAC's function on campus? I believe that it is an organization that provides activities for all different types of students and all different interests that just span across the entire board. I feel like we really have the ability and the money to really do niche and targeted events to certain groups and interests on campus. I also believe it's a time to have people who live on campus and people who live off campus to interact with each other, because there are the events that go on in the residence halls, but that's really not open to people who are off campus. So this provides an opportunity for everybody to be involved. And then I also think it acts as a safe alternative for other activities like partying and stuff like that. Instead of doing that, they can come to a PAC event. And it also allows for people who might not have the easiest time making friends to come out and to come to an event on campus and meet more people. And then the next one is, why do I want to be on PAC? I actually was thinking about applying for PAC my sophomore year, but I was kind of timid and kind of shy. And I think as a senior now, I'm really confident in my ability and my skills to bring to the table. And so I really think this is a good time for me to apply for this position. I've also been a resident assistant pretty much my whole college experience. So I feel like that experience has allowed me to bring some knowledge to PAC. And then that kind of goes for why I'm qualified as well. I've been a resident assistant for my whole college experience, basically, and I've been involved with student life for the past year and a half, so I feel like there is some experience that qualifies me there. Next, what makes a team work well together? I think specifically in this setting, as PAC, what makes it work well is if we're all from different kind of areas around campus. So for example, how I am from residence life, and I can bring that to the table, whereas maybe we have an athlete on the team, or we have somebody who's involved in the arts, and just having kind of all of the different areas of campus represented really will make this team work really well. And then just basic skills like communication and accountability. I think communication amongst the directors especially, it will be huge because they are in charge of so many things. So just making sure that we're communicating effectively. And then accountability, understanding what you're responsible for and understanding that it is your job to get those things done. So holding yourself accountable for those things. And then lastly, I think just being open-minded and accepting others' ideas. So for example, say I'm the director of budgeting, I openly welcome other ideas on how we should budget, because I'm not a know-all of accounting and stuff like that. So taking in other people's considerations is really a big thing that will help us work well. Going into my experience with budgeting, I have been a resident assistant for 3 years, and this is my second year as a senior resident assistant. So as an RA, we're in charge of our own programs, and we get $110 for the whole semester, so we have to budget that out between those months. And then as senior resident assistant, I'm also responsibility for the budgeting of the Residence Hall Council. And for Grand Mesa, we have one of the higher budgets, so I think it's around $1,000, so I'm in charge of that as well. And then I also occasionally help the coordinator just with the rest of the budgeting for the building and stuff like that, so allocating money to where it needs to go. And then personally, this past year, I worked on budgeting for a trip to Spain, so really dived into the budgeting this past year. And then how am I going to ensure that we're spending money effectively? So as I said, I'm not an accounting major. I haven't dealt with something this big before. So what my plan would to, over the summer, look at spreadsheets from the past 3 years of the money we've spent and when we spent it, and see what worked well and what didn't, and kind of setting limits for how much we're allowed to spend each month so we remain on the same track as previous years. With that being said, it's not a hard limit, and if there's a big event that's going to take some money from the next month, just understanding how to adjust that and stuff like that. So just really using the money we've spent in the past as a guideline of what we're going to do now. I'm sorry, I wrote some notes down to keep me on track. And then I was also thinking throughout the semester and the year, we can send out polls of the events we've done so far and see which ones people liked. Because I know we have like sometimes reoccurring events like canvas painting, which I know is a big one, but just say for some reason like people weren't enjoying canvas painting anymore, we would stop spending money on that and find new events that students would like more. Then variety of platforms for interaction with students. I was kind of confused what this meant, like which position it was in regards to of the 3 that I'm applying for. So I kind of went based off of the marketing one. So obviously we would still use Instagram, Snapchat, Twitter, and Facebook, pretty much all of those platforms. I really liked the way it was ran this year. I think all the giveaways and all the attention that was on Instagram was really good, so I'd keep that up. I think I would want to do more collabs with other things on campus. So admissions and the ambassadors, there's the herd for like the sporting events, the Kite, and possibly even other campuses or schools. And I know this is a big idea, but like just throwing it out there, like doing a statewide competition with other schools, seeing who would be interested in that, and trying to get more connection to the other side, because we are kind of one of the only schools on this side of the slope. So getting collabs going that way. So the next question is the most important skills that I can utilize in this position. And since I'm applying for 3 positions, it's kind of hard to pinpoint exact ones, but I think for all 3, teamwork is really a big skill that I would utilize, because this is my first time in the position, and so just being able to get help from others and kind of relieving that stress of a new experience would be really helpful. And it's also a good idea just to get everybody's input on what you're working on, because it affects everybody. So I think teamwork is a really huge skill that I would utilize. Specifically for the other ones, for director of operations, I think my experience in general and the advice I'd be able to give everybody on how to plan an event and how to get in contact with people when they need to reserve a room or when they need to reserve certain products and stuff like that. I think I can be really useful in that area. And then I also think, as being an RA, it has taught me a lot on how to teach others how to do my role that I'm currently in. So also being able to teach others how to do the budgeting, how to interact with people on social media and stuff like that, I think is a really big part of these positions. Yeah. And so then last is the 3 songs that describe my work ethic. So this is kind of hard because I'm not really into music as much as everybody else is. So I put down Try by Pink, and this kind of applies to the budgeting one. As I've said, I'm not an accounting major, so I don't know every little term or every little detail there is to budgeting, but I will try my absolute best, and I know that I can be successful in it because I'll have the resources to help me. And that kind of leads into another song that I picked, and it was Help by the Beatles. So like I just said, I understand that I will have questions at times, and I'm not afraid to ask them, because if I want it done right, I need to ask. So that is part of my work ethic. And then lastly, I chose Happy by Pharrell, because I know it's really easy to get frustrated with something that you're working on that's not going right. And so just to remind myself, like, to be happy and to have a positive outlook on the situation is a part of my work ethic. So thank you.